everyone, welcome to the first episode of Boy and Beyond. My name is Dunja Krsmanovic, and today we have a very special guest, a violinist, soloist, performing on big stages all over the world with one of the best film composers ever, Hans Zimmer, also playing alongside one and only Andrea Bocelli. Today here we are with one and only Rusanda Panfili. Rusanda is a violinist, world class. And today we're here at Famous Institute in Skopje. In just a couple of hours we'll be traveling to Ohrid, and tomorrow we're playing a concert at Ohrid Summer Festival. So before we start, thank you for speaking with me.
My pleasure.
I'd like to start with your experience here at FAMES. So what is it like to be a teacher here at FAMES, and also why Piazzolla?
Maybe I will start with why Piazzolla. My fascination for Tango Nuevo and for Piazzolla's music started about 12 years ago when I played in an ensemble dedicating only to the style of Tango Nuevo. And that was my first time getting in touch with that music, and it was really incredible what an impact it had on my life and how much I gained from performing that music, learning new styles, new techniques, and also finding something that for me was a little gap in the classical world, a type of expression, a type of freedom of expression that I've never experienced before. And that fascination never let go, and I just kept on playing Piazzolla's music. I dedicated a lot of my concerts and repertoire to his music, to understand more about him and his life. And it's just so complex. It's such a music with so many facets, with so many colors. And I really wanted to get to a point where I can say that I'm specialized in this type of music. This is why I released my album, my tribute album to Astor Piazzolla last year, and it was a dream come true to do that. Also arranging pieces for solo violin and orchestra, because there isn't much repertoire for that combination of instruments, and that led to me coming here and doing this project with you guys at the Famous Institute. Basically bringing all my knowledge and know-how and things that I've gathered in so many years, compact into a few days of working with you on that music. It was exciting because, of course, the beginning is always the most difficult part. How to learn how to create the right type of sound, how to understand the rhythms, but also how to get to a point where you really can enjoy and let go and just let the music flow through you, through your body. And actually the music dictates a lot. If we manage to separate ourselves from the notes and from the scores, we get to a point where just music can flow through us. And my experience in the last couple of days is that we really got there. Today we had a run-through of the program, and I think that everybody could feel it. Everybody could feel the result of very, very hard and intense work in the last couple of days, and a lot of joy. I could feel how, that infectiousness of Piazzolla was in the room, and it's, I'm sure, something that will reflect in all the other music that you are going to create, and maybe you're going to see emotions and expression and rhythms through a different lens now, after experiencing that.
Maybe implement some of those styles into, as you said the day before, Mozart, or something that we just play every day, and have some new ideas of what to implement onto these works.
Absolutely. I think, being a classically trained musician, the repertoire is so difficult, it's so challenging. You need to invest so much time to get to a point where you can detach yourself from the difficulty of the piece and really enjoy it. But I think rhythm is such an incredible, important element to get there. And Piazzolla's music is all about rhythm. So I'm sure that that's going to, have you improve so many different types of genres through his music.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So because you're a classically trained musician, Tell us something about your education. You were accepted as an 11-year-old into the conservatory in Vienna. So how was this experience like for you, both physically, musically? Was it a really hard thing to do, to move away at such a young age?
It was definitely not an easy thing to do, separate myself from my safe zone. I was still a kid, with 11 years old. There are a lot of things that you don't understand yet, why you have to do certain things. But moving to Vienna was probably the most important most important time of my life, not only because suddenly I was working with incredible professors who are world-class in Vienna, but also being around much older students. I was very, very young, and it was at that time an exception to approve such young students. It motivated me so much to see how good the other people were, and it was the first time in my life where I could really see playing the violin as a profession. Not just playing because I have to, or because my parents tell me to, or because, it was really finally something I could visualize myself doing. And it was very difficult, to be separated from the family, to not have friends, to not know the language. So many challenges, both financially and emotionally.
Would you say this was a necessary step in your education? Would anything change if you just stayed home in your own, let's say, bubble?
I cannot tell you that because I don't know how it would have been if I would have stayed home.
Yeah.
But I can only tell you how it was for me. I think when I moved to Vienna, I really started being very motivated and going to concerts and seeing other people play, experiencing world-class musicians performing in the Musikverein or in the Konzerthaus, just seeing how they were performing and giving it all on stage. Growing up with that really made a huge impact on my life. I could finally see myself also out there on stage. And that really made a big change within me, also on my own motivation of waking up every day and starting to practice. That's something that is not easy to do when you're a child and maybe you want to do something else and you want to have fun and play and go out with your friends, but instead of that you need to dedicate all the time you have to your instrument.
Yeah.
So that was also a challenge.
So, is there any advice that you would like to give people who, let's say, want to try to get enrolled into, like, a university in Vienna or any other universities that are like this hard to get in, but also there's a lot of competitiveness there? Would you say that you need a good, strong mindset to live in Vienna, to work with the very good musicians? What would you say to those people who want to try?
Well, absolutely. I think that this would work anywhere you would go, not necessarily just Vienna. Any big city where you would want to enter a university, come really well prepared. Think about this in advance. I think getting into the details on what's going to happen when you get there, Okay, so first step is deciding where you want to go and study. Maybe go there a bit earlier, speak to the professors, go and listen to their lessons, and find the right professor for you. That is absolutely essential in getting that person who's going to be your mentor, who's going to be the person working with you on your musical career, is going to have the biggest impact on you, your musical mentor teacher. And find that right person for you that is going to take you in the class. Of course, be super well prepared for the exam, that's so important, but also think about the other aspects. Where am I going to live? How am I going to finance my studies? There are plenty of opportunities when you're in a big city like that, like Vienna. You can have scholarships, you can find people who are music lovers and could sponsor you. All of that, I think, is important to think about. So that you can really just focus on the music and have a smooth transition.
Yeah, great. Thank you for this advice. Let's talk a little bit about your personal career. I mean, a question that everyone wants to know. How does one end up playing with Hans Zimmer? I mean, you're such an incredible musician. It's not wonder. I'm not, saying anything, but since we're classical musicians, we don't put ourselves out there enough. I think that's the biggest problem. So, how did this happen to you?
I think always in life one thing leads to the other, and every project that you do will lead to another opportunity. In my case, at that time, I was already working with a musician who was working with Hans Zimmer. And I had a project, a very crazy project with him where I was doing choreography and comedy and music, so theater on stage, already something far away from the classical music. But even that, the core of that project was me having a very strong, classically trained bass as a performer.
For sure.
I think that that's so important, Once you have that classical training where you have the capacity to play different kind of music and you are at a level of technique. And yes, so my interests were always in different kind of genres, which led me to have different projects. And I put myself out there on YouTube. I was already posting videos of those performances. And when Hans Zimmer was putting his band together, his group of musicians together to go live on stage with his music, it was in 2015 that he started having that idea. Before that, actually, I think only individual orchestras were performing his music, but he himself, he never went on stage. And when he was putting that band together, he was asking musicians that he knew for recommendations. And that's how I got recommended to be in his group. Yeah.
So it's very important to be recommended, actually.
It's all about being recommended. It's all about the impression that you leave when you are in a project, how you're going to interact with your partners, how professional you're going to be about it, and how open-minded as well, and flexible, and just have a general joy and interest towards music. I think that can lead to many opportunities in life as a musician.
Absolutely. So on this note, you're on tour a lot. You tour a lot. You travel, basically life on the road. And many people don't know the harsh reality of this. It's very hard. It's not easy. It's beautiful on stage, right? But there is this harsh reality behind it. So could you tell us a little bit about your days on tour? How does your day on tour look like for you? How do you try to manage the stress with it?
Ooh, where to start? When I go on tour, I try to be musically incredibly prepared before I go on tour, because once you're on tour, you basically have zero time to practice. Traveling is extremely demanding, and also you're most of the time just sound checking or getting from one city to another. Traveling is sometimes by nightliner, which is a bus where you sleep on a bus, and you do not have clear schedules. You might have to wake up in the night, or you might, it's just such an insane schedule. So being super hyper prepared before going on tour really makes it a little bit easier, because you don't have to worry about the music. I still always find that 1-2 hours of practice while I'm on tour. I try to be healthy, to eat healthy, to exercise, to stay fit. And always find something that rewards me for my work, whether it's going for a walk, visiting some museums, doing something for the soul. And that for me is essential, actually, to do while I'm on tour. And the rest is, adapting and trying to save energy as much as possible in order to give that 100% on stage.
Yeah. Great. So would you tell us something about your practice tips? It's really random, but actually it's something that people would ask for. I mean, I would ask for it. So when you're on tour and maybe you want to be in the best shape possible, and maybe tomorrow you have to play a very big gig, what would you do the night before in those like 1 or 2 hours? What would you focus on?
You know, I think that is something that
is it like slow practicing, or
often I compare being a musician to being an athlete. And if we look at the athletes, they're not going to do that one thing that they do when they go to the Olympiad, right? They're not going to do their jumps. They're going to do warm-ups. They're going to do cardio training. They're going to do stretching and all of that. And I think like we should apply that as well in our life. And for me, the equivalent of that is playing scales, playing exercises, velocity exercises, or just like slow bows, you know, just to feel the control over the instrument, because the notes are there, everything is there. So if the body feels warmed up, if the body feels like it's in motion, and to me, just practicing the scale, it's so transparent, where you can really feel like, oh, I'm not connected to my instrument, or I'm slowly connecting to my instrument.
Each step that you take, you feel.
Exactly. That's so essential. So that's the first thing that I do when I start playing. When I take my violin, I usually do technical exercises. And if I have 2 hours, 1 hour will be only scales and only my etudes. And then 1 hour, if I have left, it would be practicing slowly. Actually, never fast. It's important when you're home and you're preparing a piece to go step by step and increase velocity to get to the tempo that you want to play, just to see if, you know, the fingerings are working, if your bowings are the right bowings to do that velocity. But most of the practice is really, really slow. Yeah. And slow playing doesn't really mean playing without energy or without heart or without emotion and without intention. Slowly, but like really as if you mean it, like if you would increase the velocity, it would sound like in a concert.
Thinking about every note, the phrasing.
About, you know, the placement of the bow, about all the technical details, so that when I'm in a concert, I can really relax and just do the music.
Yeah. Do you believe in metronome? Do you use it?
I use metronome all the time. I'm a fan of the metronome, and I think that as a classical musician, I think that's one of the biggest challenges, to play in time and not to rush and not to slow down. I learned a lot about timing and being in time while playing film music, you know, with Hans Zimmer on tours. Most of it is on click. So if you have a click which is telling you exactly the rhythm that you have to play, and you've got pieces that are just all about the velocity and staying in time for minutes and minutes.
Especially in film music, because sometimes you have scenes, you have to be on time perfectly.
Everything is timed to the picture. So that really taught me a lot about groove. We're talking about the groove, and if you listen to pop songs or rock bands, it's so much about the rhythm and the groove, and why not apply that into performing classical music or other types of genres.
Cool. So tell us something about social media. I think it's a very cool aspect, and very important actually. There's this pressure on younger generations who want to succeed in music. They believe that being viral sets the path for your career. Is that true? Because you have a very beautiful presence online, you have a lot of followers. Do you think from your perspective that is important?
Look, I don't think the goal should be becoming viral, because you can become viral with the wrong thing. And once you became viral with that wrong thing, you kind of set on doing that. I think we should focus more on doing what we love and what we really truly believe in. And if we're honest about what we're posting and about what we are sharing with the world, because in the essence, sharing things on social media is nothing different than just promoting what you want to do. And in the hope that what you do is going to have resonance with the audience. And I think people feel if you're really honest and committed to what you do. And that can maybe not go super viral, but if the right people will see it, and if the social media algorithm is going to reach the right people, you might have even more success than some musicians who are doing videos just to become viral and they go more with the trends. I really believe in just following what you truly desire to do in terms of
stay true to
content.
yourself, yeah.
Exactly. And just high quality content, things you want to do, you believe in doing, and then kind of trust the process. Maybe it's not going to work out right away, and then one day you're going to have something that will reach a lot of people. And there are some rules of success on social media, but you have to try also what works for you individually as an artist.
Do you believe that students should definitely put their content out there? Or should they wait for, obviously, that's not going to be your answer, but everyone does that. Everyone waits for the perfect moment to post something, to practice something for it to be so perfect, and then to put it out. Should we just wait for this moment, or should we put it out there even though it's not perfect?
I mean, what is perfect? What is perfection? Perfection is so relative.
In the first place.
Even technically perfect. In my opinion, there are so many recordings online and videos on YouTube that are not perfect, but they are beautiful and they have emotion and they have the right magic for me to take the time and look at it and see it. If you create that magic, of course, you have to plan accordingly, having a video that has good quality and where the playing represents you in that moment, in that stage of your career. I think it's a great thing, and you should not wait too much, because even you are developing, and even you may post something that in a few years you won't be really truly happy with it. You just take it out, But if even your followers will see your development, how much you've been growing with your postings, I think that's also wonderful. So waiting for perfection, you might wait a little bit too long.
Yeah, it's a waste of time for sure.
Yeah, it might be a waste of opportunities, and also I think it's a big step to go beyond your comfort zone and say, I'm going to post it no matter what the reaction will be, because even though it's not 100% perfect, but I believe in how I performed that. I believe in the expression, in the music that I created, and I'm happy with that. And if you do, if you believe in what you've created and you post that, I think that should be good enough for you in that moment of your life, representing who you are.
You said something about wasting opportunities. I'm curious about it. So did you actually get some opportunities from your content? Or was it just showcasing what you did, your progress, your work? Or did you actually get some opportunities from it?
I got a lot of opportunities from the content I posted, and plenty of jobs and requests to either join projects or do collaborations with artists. The internet has an incredible power because it opens you as an artist worldwide, not just the place where you are. Let's say I was in Vienna at that time when I was a student, and you can influence your surrounding, the city where you are. You can find job opportunities where you live, but the internet opens you to the whole world. And you never know when you might get a phone call from USA to do a project there with somebody, or somewhere in Tokyo. So I think that's amazing, the globalization that we can have through the unlimited access of internet.
Wonderful. I agree. So just to wrap it up, Do you have some advice for young people, young musicians starting their careers? What would you say to them?
I think the most important is to know what you want to do. Visualize your goal. Visualize what is the next step. Visualize what is it that you want to reach. And only if you see it in front of your eyes and you know exactly what you want to do, only then it's going to be possible to reach that. And that, I think, in itself is a kind of a big task for us artists, because maybe you're someone who loves to do a lot of things. That's also okay. But it's so important to set goals. And don't set goals that are too high, so that you can constantly have success stories. To have success in what you do is so important to keep the drive of work. Right? If we only have disappointments, it's just going to be so hard to wake up in the morning and go back to work and create and do things. But if you set maybe smaller goals and you reach those, you really feel like
Baby
you're growing.
steps.
Yeah, baby steps, and that can lead to something maybe that you never even thought to reach. That happened to me many times. I've never thought someone like Hans Zimmer will want me in his band, or Andrea Bocelli. So these are the things that came unexpected, which are a result of all the other things that I was doing in my life. So believe in yourself, find your voice, and be truthful to yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your knowledge. And I wish you all the best in your career, whatever you're doing next. And I hope to see you soon and hear from you soon. And thank you for your time and your beautiful attitude.
Thank you so much.